intended with the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation, with the Civil War, with a lot of hard work and lives. And the unfortunate truth is that there are more slaves in the world today than ever before in human history. There are 27 million slaves in the world today. And one could make another assumption and say, well, that's a global problem that's happening in other countries. It's not. There are 1 million slaves. The CIA estimated there are 1 million slaves in the United States of America today. I think if Abraham Lincoln knew that, he'd be quite upset. Of those 1 million slaves, between 150,000 and 300,000 are children who are being raped for profit. Me and I learned about this issue, this global issue, this global epidemic, about a year ago. And we came to CGI with the goal of learning more about this issue, meeting with the experts of the modern-day abolitionist movement, to inform ourselves, educate ourselves, so that we could do something about it. And the more we learned, the more we realized that there was no way that we could live in a world where this was taking place and not be doing something about it. So in January, we visited the United States-Mexico border with the United States State Department, where we met a girl who told us about how she was trafficked into the United States, how she was taken into a field by her pimp and raped by 30 men on a trash bag. That's the day that we established our foundation, the DNA Foundation, which stands for the fundamental right to freedom for every person, because it's within our DNA. And so today, we return to the Clinton Global Initiative 1 year later with commitment in this field.
Truly one of the most heinous forms of slavery is the buying and selling of children for sex. And I'm proud to say that today, with the help of the Novo Foundation, we are making a commitment to launch and execute the Real Men campaign. We are recruiting men who are courageous enough, I'd like to see all of you sign up, to stand behind the statement that real men don't buy girls. And we hope to use that collective voice to raise widespread awareness and acknowledgement of this issue in hopes of changing the cultural stereotypes that are allowing for children to be sold for sex. The average age of entry into the commercial sex trade is 13 years old. 13 years old. I don't believe that any 13-year-old chooses to be a prostitute. And what's interesting is that most people believe that a prostitute is choosing to sell herself, when in fact, 75% are enslaved by their pimp. And while it's much more comfortable for us to think that this exists in other countries, the reality is we have to wake up to what's happening in our own backyard. I met a lovely young woman who was taken from the streets, kidnapped at 11 years old, and made promises of ice cream and clothes and trinkets, as well as love and care and safety, only to find that she was given a mandate of having to turn over $1,500 a night by repeatedly being raped for profit. And if she didn't reach that quota, she was either put into a bathtub of ice or hit and beaten with whatever was nearby. She was lucky enough at 17 to step away from this life, but many are not. The trauma, the stigma, the general loss of their childhood leaves them broken. Demand is the motor that drives this industry. And with people engaging, as long as people engage in this illegal behavior, Pimps will continue to make a profit. There's a statistic that says 1 in 5 men have engaged in the commercial sex trade. Real men protect, respect, love, and care for girls. Real men don't buy girls.
So in addition to launching this advocacy campaign, we recently learned that 76% of the underage girls that are sold in the commercial sex trade are sold online. So upon learning this, we formed a coalition, an anti-trafficking tech task force that has been meeting on a regular basis in Silicon Valley. Companies that are involved include Twitter, Microsoft, Google, Facebook, and many other ISP providers. We have law enforcement officials that are helping us. We have government officials that are helping us. We're also partnering with NCMEC, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, in an effort to fortify their computing capacity. We are forming this. The purpose of this tech task force is to create technology solutions to end human trafficking online. And we believe that together we can create a trafficking-free internet. And that's our mission, that's our goal. And we're lucky enough to have a couple of our partners